under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for joining us. So first, before we get started, just like to say to my fellow board members, I want to take a brief moment before tonight's agenda to express my deepest gratitude for your presence. First, happy birthday, Christian. I'm sure you can think of no better place to be than here with us right now on your birthday. It's exciting. At the same time, Nate, we are incredibly moved and grateful for your presence here with us tonight, just days after experiencing a devastating tragedy. Your presence is a powerful reminder of the profound sacrifices made by every member of this board. As unpaid elected volunteers, you all constantly balance your personal lives, both your celebrations and your hardships, to show up and serve. So thank you for your sacrifice, your resilience, and your unwavering dedication to our community. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. All right, student and staff recognition. So I believe we have some recognition upon us, so I'll turn things over.
Yes, so I'd like to recognize our student, Allison Favara. She is from our Sycamore Middle School. She was nominated by her teacher, Amy Hansen, and her teacher states that Allie can work with and talk to anyone. She is trustworthy to the nth degree and always goes above and beyond in her work and helps others who are struggling. She is well liked by kids of all social groups and adults. She is awesome. Join us in congratulating Allison.
Thank you so much.
Stand up here with a picture.
Oh wait, that's where I'm moving it a little bit. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Your nails are so cute. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Tonight, for our staff recognition, we would like to recognize Katie Friel, a fifth grade teacher at West Elementary School, for going above and beyond during a recent event at West. Katie's compassion, quick thinking, and unwavering commitment to students exemplify what it means to be a Spartan and reflect our belief that all students are our students. We are incredibly grateful for her care, dedication, and leadership. We already recognize Katie for this, and she didn't like that because it's just what she does, right? She didn't think she was going above and beyond, but she was. And before that event even occurred, she was nominated by her colleague, Drew Davey. Drew wrote, "Time and time again, Katie has proven to be an outstanding member of the Sycamore educator community. Her ability to work with diverse groups of adults, colleagues, students, and families is worthy of great recognition. Katie is a role model for myself, keeping a positive disposition whenever faced with a goal or challenge. Her flexible thinking allows her to, for example, pilot new curricula and navigate the nuances of her various committees. She demonstrates confidence for the boys and girls of our school as a coach for both Battle of the Books and Girls on the Run. There are countless examples of Katie's efforts, both small and large, in which her care, compassion, resilience, and solution-focused character has made our community a better place. She is a flexible thinker in all aspects and is a teacher that I aspire to be like, as well as a person I have learned much from." This carries out into the community as well, as I didn't think she'd be here tonight because about 10 minutes ago I started coaching youth sports in totally different attire, and somehow she got here to be recognized. So this goes not only in the school but all throughout the community. So please join me in celebrating Katie Friel.
Great, thank you.
That would be your chance, Joyce.
Other separate.
She's back to coaching now. She's got to run back out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
How awesome was that for a kid?
All right, the next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. The recommended action is a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented, items 4.01 through 4.08. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented, items 4.01 through 4.08, which composes minutes of the regular meeting April 28th, 2026, minutes of executive session April 28th, 2026, minutes of the special meeting May 12th, 2026, minutes of executive session May 12th, 2026, bills payable, financial reports, gifts and donations report, and policies for consent 820 and 2150.
So moved. Grados.
Second.
Moved and seconded. The motion was to approve the consent agenda as presented, items 4.01 through 4.08. It was moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
These policies are very minor changes. That's why they're on consent, and they do not change any practice, and none of them have to do with homebound participation in interscholastic activities.
Any other discussion?
And the PTO made a generous donation to North Grove, it looks like, so
Nice.
concrete pad materials.
Yeah, that's great. All right, seeing no further comments, Kelly, would you call the roll?
Evans,
Yes.
Grados,
Yes.
Regnery,
Aye.
Russell,
Yes.
Santu,
Yes.
Koppel,
Yes.
DeVito,
Yes.
motion carried.
The next item on the agenda is the NIA consent agenda. The recommended action is a motion to approve the NIA consent agenda as presented, items 5.01 through 5.04, composed of 5.01 NIA treasurer's reports, 5.02 NIA bills payable, 5.03 NIA personnel report, and 5.04 NIA contract/vendor agreement report. Is there a motion to approve the NIA consent agenda as presented, items 5.01 through 5.04?
So moved. Regnery.
Second. Same two.
Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, Kelly, would you call the roll?
Grados,
Yes.
Regnery,
Yes.
Russell,
Yes.
Santu,
Yes.
Koppel,
Yes.
Evans,
Yes.
DeVito,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right, the next item on the agenda is audience to visitors. Good evening. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Sycamore School District 427 Board of Education, guided by Board Policy 2230 and the Illinois Open Meetings Act. This is a business meeting held in public. The 7 of us seated here are your neighbors, volunteers entrusted by you to care for our schools, and we're truly grateful you've chosen to spend a portion of your evening with us. To balance participation with the board's agenda, we have reserved up to 30 minutes for public comment. Each speaker is kindly asked to limit remarks to 3 minutes. Unused time may not be transferred to another person. Any extension requires a majority vote of the board. When you're recognized, please approach the podium, state your name, share your thoughts. The board will listen without debate this evening. Questions or concerns, when called for, will be routed through the appropriate administrative channels for follow-up, consistent with our chain of command procedures. If you'd like to speak, please raise your hand, wait to be called. Thank you for lending your voice and for helping us model effective self-government for our students. Would anyone like to address the board at this time? If you'd please raise your hand.
Mr. DeVito,
Yes?
we have 2 people to address the board this evening.
Wonderful.
Laura Warmke, yes, if you come to the podium, please.
Thank you.
Is this the podium?
Yes.
Make sure. Okay. Hello, my name is Laura Wormke, and I have 3 kids. They are just finishing up 7th grade and 5th grade and 1st grade. We homeschool them, so I'm here tonight to speak in favor of changing the policies allowing homeschoolers more access. So I always tell people that we don't homeschool because we're anti-public school. In fact, my kids go to orchestra, choir, band, PE, and art. So we have loved getting to be a part of the schools. So I'm really excited about this policy change because then we can be a part even more. I hope that it's a win for both the school district by getting additional kids in that could do really well in some of these extracurriculars or athletics. Obviously, it'll be a win for the homeschooled kids. I like to joke that I can do a lot of things as a homeschool mom, but I cannot create an orchestra at home. And I also can't make our cross-country team. My 5th grader who's going into 6th grade, I think she has a lot of potential as a runner, and that's not something I can really provide at home. And finally, just my last thing is I still pay the same amount of property taxes, as you all know, that when we used to send our kids to public school. So I just appreciate you all looking into this as an issue of fairness and inclusivity and making the requirements as low as they possibly can be. And then finally, thank you all, because this is a lot of work. I happen to know one of your wives and have heard just a little smidgen of how many hours of work you all put in. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Mr. Vito, Jennifer Bastian will be speaking to the board.
Thank you.
Hi, I am both a substitute teacher and a parent of a preschooler. And I know that you are aware of staff shortages based on the October 2025 quote about staff shortages and burnout among assisting staff. Are you aware of staff training not being properly trained in the preschool about being potty trained? If they do not have a medical need, there's no reason that a staff member should ever be in the bathroom helping a student other than to provide them with necessities like toilet paper, wipes, etc. On that note, I am also someone who was asked to take a position by West Elementary because they did not have someone for the kindergarten class that my daughter would be going into this coming fall, and she is in the process of being registered. However, when I was actually substituting, I was not giving any training about that I was supposed to be per state mandate, so this is a violation. And on top of that, I was told that that another staff member who was a substitute had gone to the bathroom with a student to help them because the student had asked for help and had accidentally helped them without knowing any better at the end of the day after I had already been alone with students. And this is a concern not just for my child because of the incident that happened back in February. This is also a concern for all students in the Sycamore School District, as staff have not been providing any training. I was not required to do any training when I came in as a substitute. And so therefore, if substitutes are not being trained and there is overburdening with the staff and not having enough time to train staff properly, then obviously this is also a concern for staff, us teachers, paraprofessionals, teachers' aides, you name it. And the reason I speak to you is because I am a social worker. I understand trauma, I understand re-traumatization, and so even if it isn't a concern at that particular time, this is something that is affecting our community and our children on a regular basis. And so I just wanted you all to become aware of that, and I have not received anything back. It's been over 3 months since the incident happened with my daughter. I have not, I know I'm not supposed to say anything, so I'm gonna stop there. I did sign that, but I did not receive any response for over a month, and I have not received any response regarding my substitute concern for over a month. And so I just wanted to make you all aware of that. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for being here. Appreciate you. To everyone who spoke, I understand how important it is, and I also appreciate how difficult it can be to address some of these issues to the board. So I just want to take this moment to express my gratitude for you guys having the courage and strength to come up here and speak to us about these important problems. So, is there anyone else from the audience who'd like to address the board at this time? Seeing no one, we will proceed with the next item on our agenda, and all of the concerns brought forward will be routed through the proper administrative channels for follow-up. Thank you. Item 7.01, building and departmental updates. We've got a few here. Superintendent reports.
Yes, good evening, board. I have several updates to share with you, and also a amazing video created by our communications team highlighting our students and staff at the secondary level. So that'll be shown here to talk about our upcoming ELA resource. So that'll be part of my update to you. I did want to share that our communications department, as you heard me share last month, was part of coordinating the printing and hand delivery of over 520 personalized appreciation notes to staff members district-wide. This initiative was a fantastic reflection of our community's deep gratitude and strong recognition for our dedicated teams across our system. Early childhood, to give you this update, we know that they're growing and are right now experiencing an exceptionally high demand for the upcoming school year. The numbers are showing us that morning tuition classes are full. Afternoon sessions are nearly at capacity with 51 total tuition students and 112 state granted funded preschool for all seats are filled. And the program projects starting with the year with approximately 145 students in Little Spartans. In addition, we have had successful kindergarten transition meetings. The district has completed kindergarten transition meetings across all 5 elementary buildings for preschool students with individualized education plans. This milestone fostered critical collaboration between preschool and elementary teams, ensuring a smooth transition for these students and their families. Moving on to middle school, our middle school has had a full attendance rate for the 25-26 school year, which has reached 95.55%. This marks a major upward turnaround compared to previous years, which consistently hovered around 91 to 92%. Additionally, the chronic absence rate for April was kept low at 7.1%, representing 61 out of 862 students. The school has successfully wrapped up its year-long English Language Arts pilot program. Staff members Jessica Johnson and Beth Fitzenreiter were explicitly commended for putting in substantial effort to ensure the pilot ran smoothly at the middle school. Their groundwork and data collection successfully drove the final curriculum recommendations to the Learning and Teaching Committee and ultimately to the board. Moving on to high school, there's a strong academic engagement at Sycamore High School, noting that 185 students in the month of May are currently taking a total, or did take a total of 252 advanced placement exams spanning 15 different subjects. The testing concluded on May 15th, with results expected to be shared with families and schools in early July. This highlights our students' drive to challenge themselves with rigorous college-level coursework. In addition, 13 Spartan TV students and communication staff members were invited to tour the Marquee Studios in downtown Chicago. Students went behind the scenes to explore the production studio, connect with industry producers and on-air talent, and tour historic Wrigley Field. This hands-on experience offered them invaluable insight into the world of professional sports broadcasting. In addition, Spartan TV has also successfully returned to broadcasting varsity softball games this past year for the first time in 3 years, and our very own Rich, who's in the back, was very much part of making that happen for our community. So thank you, Rich. As we lead into you seeing a little clip of our secondary schools, our middle and our high school, and their thoughts about this ELA resource, I did want to share as we look back at all the work that we've done leading up to this moment in the impactful decisions for our English resources. We know that this curriculum selection was a direct result of a rigorous year-long pilot program driven by the extensive groundwork, data collection, and feedback of our dedicated teaching staff. To capture the full scope of these curriculum advancements, along with other key student celebrations and critical operational updates, please join me in watching this brief video highlighting this work.
Over the past 3 years, Sycamore Community School District has worked to ensure our English Language Arts curriculum follows the most up-to-date research on how students learn to read. We are thrilled to share that we have adopted Savis My Perspectives for our 6th through 12th grade students. This adoption represents an investment in our students and their vital literacy skills.
So as a teacher, I wanted to participate in this pilot program because I really wanted to be a part of the research-based decision to adopt a curriculum. I know that this particular curriculum is tried and true, and I also wanted to see kind of how it would compare as a veteran teacher to what I already do in the classroom.
Students in my classroom are responding well to the structure, the general structure of the lessons. I think that they like knowing kind of what is coming, like what their day-to-day is going to look like. They are responding especially well to the physical textbook that they have. I think it's been really refreshing moving away from the Chromebooks and getting to work with physical texts that they can be highlighting and like flipping through. That's been the most tangible benefit of this whole thing.
I feel like in previous English classes, we didn't really get to have as much student like speaking as we do now. Because like I know a lot of the classes this year are like making us read the different people when we read a play or something, whereas in past years we didn't get to do that as much. Savas better helps enforce that.
So something that I hope that our families and community understand about this curriculum is that it really emphasizes the value of the science of reading. Something about the science of reading is a huge emphasis in building background knowledge, because when students build that background knowledge, they can really understand what the text is talking about. Then they can make connections to other texts. And so I know that this curriculum does that with the thematic approach, where units are centered around a theme and an essential question. Students have the opportunity to build that background knowledge to be able to access these grade level texts.
We would read stories together and then annotate and answer questions about what we read, and then come together and talk about our favorite parts of it.
I think it's important to know that, again, we did the research on this, and there is such a shift to have this more direct instruction in ELA, and my perspectives completely follows that path. We looked at this program, and there are great stories that go along with it. It gives a lot of rigor for the students to be able to analyze stories, analyze different types of literature, do writing based on that as well. And it kind of encompasses everything into one, which is why now we're moving to having a blocked schedule so that we can encompass both writing and reading together. We've always had those two separate classes, and now they're going to be one class, and my perspectives allows us to do that.
I would say when we read our stories in our books, and then we sometimes we watch movies to them, and it's really fun and it's a great experience. There's a fun story that we just read. It's Jose Hernandez, and he was a farmer, and he was struggling as family, but then he had a dream, and then he became an astronaut. And we watched the movie to it, and it was really cool, and it was really inspiring.
So what I want families and students to know about this shift is that we've made some really intentional choices about what we want to use within the curriculum that align with our priority standards that we've already decided are most important. Additionally, it will be more rigorous, but I think that's great. As students continue to filter through their grades, they're going to see that rigor, and it's going to set them up much better for whatever their future is, whether college or beyond that.
So as highlighted in this video, the adoption of Savas My Perspective represents a major step forward in establishing an integrated, data-driven achievement loop for our middle and high school students. A few more highlights to share with the board this evening. This past week, or last week, Sycamore High School recently hosted an incredible cross-curricular art exhibit that beautifully brought the rich histories and cultures of India and Japan to life. This unique showcase was a direct result of an innovative collaboration with a Sycamore High School art teacher and Sycamore High School history teacher, demonstrating how interdisciplinary partnerships can deepen cultural appreciation and provide a powerful platform for student creative expression. Last week, we had our senior scholarship night. It was an incredible evening to see how many students were recognized and celebrated for their success with scholarships from our community. It was deeply moving, and it underscored the overwhelming generosity of our local community and partners who continue to invest heavily in the future of academic growth in our graduating seniors. And as all school year is coming to a close, as you are aware, we have many celebrations happening, from field days happening at elementary schools to graduation that took place this past Sunday, and as well as even the senior clap out that took place at many of our elementary schools as well. We are so excited as we are transitioning our seniors into whatever their future is for them, and we are so celebrating with them as well. And as a final note, we are preparing to recognize our staff this coming week, Thursday, May 28th from 6 to 7:30 at the Bloomin' Gardens, and we hope you can join us for that event. And that is it for the superintendent report.
Thank you. It's very detailed. Appreciate it. A lot of good stuff happening. So, man. Any questions or comments on the superintendent's reports?
Board goals update. Board goals progress update.
Yeah.
We'll do that later.
Yeah, we're gonna go to that as a separate one. Yeah. Anything on the reports or this info? I think pretty clear on. There's some written memos too, for your perusal.
I think it's good that we're getting positive feedback from our teachers switching over to Saturdays. It's good to see that kids seem to be really enjoying it. So to see that happening now as we progress in the future years, it's positive trending. Also, with the recognition of getting these kids out of the school system, the Cubs game, getting them in different events, or showing them a different light. So keep that up. Please pass that on to the principals as well.
Interesting on the early childhood too. Sounds like filling up pretty quickly. So interested to see, you know, what that will look like in the future, if we're going to have room or growth, you know, how that'll play out. So I know we're reading about in the paper, at least the early childhood spur that's happening in this county. And so it's just, yeah, interesting to see some of those numbers on paper. So, any other comments? Okay.
Dr. Campbell covered the memos pretty well. There are lots of good things to celebrate, but you covered a lot of it. Very good.
Board goals progress update. As we kind of fitting as we come to a close on our year at the end of June or so. You know, we're talking about goals later in the agenda as well. But anything to discuss on board goals, current ones?
So we've been reflecting on the year. We're going to continue to do that in June at a district leadership retreat, if you will. And I've introduced to the system something to call the ISO framework, where we look at data through different lenses from instruction, curriculum, environment, and the learner. And we're going to spend some time in June reviewing our system through that lens of environment and learner. We were just talking today about which data sets we're going to have our administrators engage in, from 5 essentials to IAR to map data. So we're excited to continue to provide updates about our progress towards the goals this year. And in addition, I've been engaging with 2 different potential partners for strategic planning. And we'll be now talking about that internally as an executive leadership team. And by the June meeting, I hope to provide an update to you all about where we are and next steps for strategic planning, which will dovetail to the board goals for next year in a little bit.
Nice. Right on schedule. Cool.
Could we get an update at the end of the year just of what we've met and what goals we didn't meet?
Yep, absolutely.
Just like green, yellow, red. So we've been talking about that for seems like years now. Just where we can see really quickly at a glance where we're doing well, and then where potentially we could dig deeper into for the academic year 27.
Yep, I can have that for the June board meeting, and we've been talking about the interface on the website, looking at our current provider, which is called Final Site, to see if they'd be able to work with us, and or exploring Diligent as a platform too. So we'll be able to have that update to the board as well. So exactly like you're saying, you'll be able to see progress throughout the year.
Cool. All right. Board reports. So 8.01 FOIA report. There, as always, there were some FOIAs. Looks like they were all responded to, at least from the last cutoff date. So that's great. Any comments on the FOIAs? Okay. Moving on to the board district, non-district committees report. Item 8.02, any teaching and learning updates?
No update regarding any meetings that we've had in the past month, but we do have an upcoming meeting on June 8th at 6 p.m. A few of the things that we'll be discussing is looking back at the academic performance. You probably saw a little bit of that on the middle school report, but I'm sure we'll go into greater depth. As well as a Bridges reflection, the first year having implemented that new curriculum, and then some updates on the ELA curriculum, as well as maybe a few other items.
Great. Business Services Committee update.
No update at this time.
Okey-doke. Policy Committee.
We have more agenda items from our last meeting, but we will have a special meeting on June 9th at 6 p.m.
Okay. Parent-Teacher Advisory and Behavioral Intervention.
Just that we changed our meeting from July 28th to July 20th. That'll be at 6 p.m. here.
Excellent. And then we have anything, board representative updates, anything on SEF or on city planning and zoning?
No update on planning and zoning. The next meeting will be in July. They canceled this month.
Great. Okay, perfect. And then Spartan Senate, there was an update embedded in there as well. Great to see. And I'll just add a comment too. Our board member applications, our student board member applications, it looks like went live, so that's great. So hopefully, based on previous discussion, that timeline will put us into motion for an August potentially person, something to that effect.
So we are promoting it now, and we're releasing the application in August. So we're getting the excitement generated now, and you saw me even at the high school trying to recruit kids. I'm like,
ringers.
hey, you want
I
to
know I got to
apply
get my
to be a
talking
student
points.
board member? Yeah. So we're excited to have representation from our student body be part of the board next year.
Great, that's awesome. And then we have IASB. We're getting in a potential resolution to the board here soon. I know Beth and I are putting our heads together on that. And I think Beth, you may be right. Okay, yeah, we'll talk. And then there was one other update I'm drawing a blank on. It was the governance, excellence in governance for the board. We're well underway on that. So it is looking promising, but we should hear an announcement likely in early 2026 school year, so probably around October or so on the outcome of that submission. So
board representative, are we still on, is that what we're talking about?
Yep, still on that 8.06.
The resolution that we currently have.
Because there's no limit on resolutions.
Oh, yeah,
so,
no, I know. So we'd submit additional, sorry Beth, I didn't get a chance to.
Oh, it's
I've been
okay,
really
go
busy.
on.
But the one that we already have, when will we get the okay on if we can submit that or not?
So as I understand it, I mean, obviously we need to get it in before the next regular meeting. Like the way that the regular meeting works is there will be enough time to approve it before the cutoff for IASB is for those resolutions. So I think it would probably be worthwhile if this goes to anybody submitting a resolution to the board for review, to do that like ASAP. That would go to Kristen. She's going to review it. I know, Alex, you made a submission for a resolution that you presented to the board too, and you're waiting for some answers from administration on. So I can follow up.
Just when's the submission deadline?
Yeah, it's 2 days after our next regular board meeting. Yeah, June 24th. Is it June 24th?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So
will we have an update June 24th?
Well, June 23rd, we have a regular board meeting.
Or June 23rd?
So.
Will you be prepared with an update then?
Yeah, I can give an update now.
Okay. If
So-
you could, maybe just so there's not as much of a time.
Yeah, it's very brief. Just in regards to the Tier 2 pension reform, had a conversation with our union, and although representing what they shared with me, although we are in favor of reform, not in favor of this resolution as it stands.
Could they elaborate?
I can get back to you with additional details, but that's just the overall response to that.
Yeah, if you could, please.
Mhm.
I sort of was thinking we'd have a presentation on that.
You're wanting a presentation on it? Okay.
Well, what we could do is, why don't we set up a time for maybe Kristen and you can talk about what the union position was.
Because I
something
guess
like that.
maybe there was some, they'd either get the same amount of money or more money. I guess I'm just not understanding what the apprehension would be to more money.
So we can have a follow-up conversation. You can provide more details to what you're asking.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I know the 403B was floated in years past and it was not approved, it was not favored. So
But this is making it optional, not mandating it.
I'm just like,
Okay. But I just wonder if there's a communication issue.
could be.
You can work it out. We'll figure it out. Anything else on board rep updates? No. Okay. Cool. Moving on to old business stuff we've already talked about, but for purpose of approval, consideration to approve the bus hazards. So, just some context here. These are old proposed hazardous routes, and Lacey, I won't put you on the spot, but correct me if I'm wrong here. So, in the past, I'll just start with, we have these routes that we run for students with buses. They are sometimes in an area that is hazardous. The Illinois Department of Transportation gives us a form that the Transportation Department can fill out. And if that form hits, as I understand it, 20 points, it can be deemed hazardous. And if it's deemed hazardous, we can get reimbursed for the cost of that route up to like sometimes 60 cents on the dollar, something like that, right?
Yeah, so it depends what kind of hazard it is. If it's a single hazard, it has to exceed 12 points. And then if it's a combined hazard, it has to exceed 20.
Okay, so you have to, so the most difficult hazard would be 20 points. If we have some routes that are hazardous, we submit to them the paperwork. I think you were out there at one point counting cars or something like that, to make sure that the route is in fact hazardous. The value we get for this, it's per route. I mean, I don't know what the actual cost is
I
per
don't
route.
have the cost ratio. That is kind of done behind the scenes
Sure.
with Nicole, but this provides that data for her.
Gotcha. I mean, ballpark, it's not anything it's not insubstantial. Like it's like 15, 20, like, right? Like it's thousands of dollars.
Yeah,
per
I don't
route.
have that information, but I think it would be beneficial for us to do that.
Oh yeah,
Obviously, money
for
returned
sure.
is always
Yeah, it makes sense.
beneficial.
No, this
Yeah.
is great, and I think that's a great way to save additional money. So excellent.
Yeah.
And then there are, it looks like, what, seven of these submissions.
Yeah, all 7 are exceeding the qualifications at this point. This grouping, yeah.
Okay. Well, I had a chance to review them. Thank you so much. Is there a motion to approve item 9.01, bus hazards? And you'll see that full list of 7.
So moved. Sanju.
Second, Cobb.
All right, moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. We'll move on to the next item on the agenda, the consideration to approve the board goals for 2026 to 2027. So our special meeting, our spillover workshop special meeting, nice time well spent. We started this goal setting process with about 30 community members, staff members, student. We had admin involved. We had an IASB rep, and basically went through this really rigorous goal setting process that led us to these draft goals. It was, I think at one point a comment was made, it was really shrinking the organization, right? We flattened it, is the lingo, which was nice. I mean, I think that whole meeting we got done in just under 3 hours, so it was pretty good, very detailed. Then we had a follow-up special meeting where we took this, like the synthesis of like all the Post-its and everything like that, and Dr. Perry Hill put together like a memo that basically described how he, who works at IASB, thought we should adjust or refine the feedback into some goals. We took that feedback and information. We had another 3 hours of kind of rapping about it, and got us to this draft goals document that you see before you. It's really a cleaned up review of that. Any comments so far on this goals document? I have prepared some comments that I'll share after a vote, but just, again, I know we spent a cumulative 6 hours discussing this, so I can't imagine, and in public, so can't imagine there's much more.
Yeah, no, nothing in regards to the goals. I think we hashed those out pretty well, but I do think the process was really beneficial and more collaborative, so I really appreciated that this year and hope that next year we can lead to a similar approach.
Great.
Yeah, I'll just say that I'm very excited to be striving for exemplary buildings per ISB's designation. I think that's going to be really powerful.
Okie doke. Is there a motion to approve these draft goals?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Thank you for all the work that went into it, especially with, I know Alan kind of took the lead in it in the beginning, and also Alex. So you guys did a lot of hard work, and then, everyone showing up for the thing we had with Dr. Perry. It was really good. was really good because we got input from everyone, and I know that's kind of already been said, but just basically thank you.
There's always room for improvement, and this was a great process. I think we're getting better and better at this as we go along. It just speaks volumes to where we're headed.
We came a long way since that, we came a long way since that workshop we did with Laura. It seems like a long time ago now, when we all felt pretty stuck, so it's good.
Yeah, I know you see it all on paper now. It's nice and clean and color-coded, so it'll be great. All right, we have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the ayes have it. So, some comments to the public at large and the district as these goals craft the direction that we'd like to see the district go. Students are the center of our mission. Our responsibility to the taxpayer is key to their success. Our district needs to undergo a reorganization from the top down. Our organizational chart has been changing incrementally over the past 3 decades in a reactive approach to issues that no longer reflect today's commitments to students and staff and their future success. Administrators are a valuable partner for the board, district, and community, and without them, we couldn't empower all learners to succeed in their world. After the seating of our new superintendent, recent public discussion has spurred additional discussion around the allocating of resources to administration. This announcement of new administration changes and adjustments to the community has rightly raised questions. One of the proposed board goals is striving to earn the Illinois State Board of Education's exemplary designation at every school in the district. This is the highest rating a school can get and has not yet been achieved in Sycamore schools. Our proposed goal for this year for financial designation is aimed at recognition, the best profile a district can obtain. The board currently has tried to move the district in the right direction and continues to put student outcomes, sustainability, and financial responsibility at the center of its discussions. We can achieve this. We can build a district that creates career readiness, college success, and critical thinkers. We can reorganize our leadership to serve our classrooms, and we can do it while fiercely protecting the taxpayers' dollars. Our objective is not to add administrative positions in the long run, and to do the same with more is negligence. We need to deliver better results by rigorously evaluating our existing roles, assessing their value to our mission, rolling those responsibilities into a more efficient, updated organizational structure, re-emphasizing the importance of district goals. The board is a different place than it was, and our district is a different place than it was 30 years ago. We need an organizational structure built for tomorrow's students, recognizing today's financial limitations. We need an organizational structure and goals that proactively work for our students and community, and not one reactively, catching up to the world.
Thank you.
Yep.
To reach that exemplary standard and to do it with financial recognition, we need the right roles and the right contractual expectations for those positions. The proposed positions and these proposed goals are a necessary first step in reorganizing our district team while honoring our current commitments. We value our whole team, especially as people, and so this process doesn't happen overnight. At the same time, we recognize that students in the community deserve a thoughtful transition without learning disruption. Over the next 24 months, you will witness reorganization that maximally benefits students, and although it might not seem like it at the moment, it lowers our administrative expenses and reemphasizes the importance of district goals. The board has made organizational excellence a priority. The community deserves absolute certainty that our reorganization and our board goals are working. That's why an exemplary designation and financial recognition is our benchmark. It gives you the ultimate metric to measure our success. As a past student, current taxpayer, and volunteer elected board member and president, we will not settle for anything less than exemplary for this community. Life offers more in Sycamore, and we're here to empower all learners to succeed in their world. We'll move on to the next item on the agenda, and that is the consideration to approve the amended 2026 through 2027 Board of Education meeting schedule. Is there a motion to approve the amended 2026 through 2027 Board of Education meeting schedule? There will be time for comment.
So, second, Zantu.
Moved in second. Is there any discussion?
Do we need to add the special meeting that Alex mentioned?
It's a special, so technically no.
Okay.
We just need to post it within 2 days.
What was the date you were looking for?
The 9th.
June 9th?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, we can, and we got this thing cracked open, so we may
Yeah.
as well.
So in addition to policy on June 9th, we were also proposing a special meeting on June 9th as well.
Okay, so two meetings same day,
Yeah.
June 9th.
Mhm.
What time were we thinking?
So policy and a regular, well,
A special meeting.
with the board.
Yeah. So we could do a special meeting from 6 to 6:30 and then policy start at 6:30 would be my recommendation.
Okay.
Great. All right, that change is not reflected in this board meeting schedule, as I understand it, so
Did we have to have a motion on the table?
there's a motion, there's a second,
we
so
withdraw it, please?
we can do an amended motion. I'll solicit an amended motion
Probably easiest, oh, sure.
for Kelly.
If we just withdraw it, that we can do a clean motion.
You would like to withdraw, did you?
I
make the
don't
motion?
know, I'm just saying parliamentary procedure-wise, the cleanest way is just, in my opinion, to withdraw, and then. But if we don't want to withdraw it, that's fine, we can just amend.
Cool.
It was my motion.
Would you like to withdraw your motion, or would you like an amended motion?
I would like to withdraw the motion.
Okay, motion's been withdrawn. Is there, there was a motion, there's not. So we'll move on then and solicit a new motion. So, Alex, would you like to make a new motion?
Could you please? You have the dates.
All right, I'll solicit this motion. Is there a motion to approve the amended Board of Education meeting schedule, including 2 meetings on June 9th, a special meeting at 6 p.m., and a policy meeting at 6:30 to follow?
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second.
Can I have decision for checking?
Sure, of course.
Including 2 meetings on June 9th.
We would have a special at 6 o'clock and then a policy meeting at 6:30. All right, moved and seconded.
Who was the motion again, please? Cole or Alan?
Zantu, second by Regner.
Great. Any discussion? Seeing no additional discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the ayes have it. Let's keep rolling. Let's see here. Got goals, amended schedule, new business. So item 10.01. So no action being requested here. This is just new business. IASB Board April 7th workshop, next step in discussions. There was a follow-up letter in regard to our board workshop. That follow-up letter is included in this agenda here. You'll note just some addressing of the board norms and protocols appendix. One was related to just updating, it looked like Appendix D in the handbook for school board members compared to what is actually in diligent. And then the other was removing Appendix A of the Appendix D because there was a sub-appendices in the handbook. So should be just some basic administrative things. We could see it on a regular agenda for approval, later this summer. So does that feel like a good natural progression for that recommendation?
Yep.
All right, so keep rolling. Next item is the fiscal year 26 State Library Grant Award. So you'll note the memo there from Dr. Ballantyne to Dr. Campbell regarding the Sycamore District Library Grant. Do you have any comments beyond the memo? No?
No, we're grateful for the grant.
Yeah, great stuff. Good to see. So wonderful. All right, any discussion on that? No action being requested. Okay. Item 10.03, Memorandum of Understanding for the School Resource Officer discussion. There's a revision to the MOU between the City of Sycamore and the Board of Education. As I understand it, some updates. Last time the MOU was cleaned up, it was some time ago, so it was just some boilerplate. Anything really substantive
There was update on body cam, as that's to my knowledge the most significant update. Nick, is there any other updates that you remember from our discussion about this either?
No, that was the most significant. It was really just aligned with where we're at in terms of the law now, so it needed to be incorporated in there.
Great. Again, no action being requested on this, just new business items. So any other comments or discussion on this? Okie doke. Item 10.04, bus hazard study review. So like you saw old business for previous hazards, this is new business for additional hazards. Often discussed, we've broached this topic a couple of times for this particular route. Any items of discussion on this?
Yeah, I do have a quick question. I'm probably misunderstanding this. Lacey, Ms. Lance, sorry. I've got the walking along a roadway and then the crossing a roadway. 5, 2, 1, 1.5, 2 points there.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
then 5, 1/2, 1, 2.
Yes.
And then it looks to me like that's 11.5 and 8.5, which I think adds to 20. Is that right? I think there's just a typo later.
Sorry, I'm looking
No,
at the
it's okay.
lens.
I just want to make sure. I'm probably wrong.
Which,
I got it here.
sorry, do you mind?
No, it's okay. Sorry, I just noticed this. It's like the third time I looked at it.
No,
you
that's
know?
okay. This one
So-
is, sorry, I have a
Okay,
touch screen.
yeah.
This one is, can you scroll up so I
Oh,
can
yep,
see what
mhm.
map, or,
Sorry.
sorry, scroll down, which
Yep.
map it is?
Oh, further.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I just want to make sure I'm grabbing it from the right one.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, that's okay. Let's see. And which one are you questioning?
I got the South Park Avenue, Park and Borden Avenue. the type
Okay,
1 and
yeah.
3.
I could have added wrong, so I will
Well, I
take
could
it.
be. I just want to make sure. 'Cause
Yeah.
You went out and counted it. and
No,
stuff, so I
this,
wanna
the
make sure-
data that's on there
Yeah,
is
that's all
accurate.
right.
Yep.
Okay.
Mhm. Yep. Sorry,
What are you talking about?
I've looked at it about 35
No,
times.
I know.
so-
Yeah, I know it for sure.
Yeah,
You can start at 19.5.
I think I had
So it
19.5, yeah.
So would
And
it would
20's
qualify?
20's a hazard, right?
20, it has to exceed, yeah, so we can submit it to the hazard, that's with the 2 additional judgment
Yeah.
points. So that's where that memo comes into play. Do you want to use the memo that you've used last time? Would you like to do a new memo with information that may or may not have changed? If we want to use the same memo, then we would just submit this as a hazard to the state. They would have to agree with the memo that we did. If they agree that it's a hazard, then it would qualify. If they're like, hey, thank you for the submission of this memo with these 2 additional points, we don't agree, then they could technically deny it. But yes, we could submit it as such.
Then it needs to meet or exceed 20, right?
Correct, yes.
Okay. And so this one.
Yep.
This one's a 20.
Yeah.
So that's great.
There we go.
Awesome.
Thank
More
you
money.
for looking at it
I
as
just,
I've
you know what?
looked
This
at
is
it
like
20
the third
times.
time I looked at it.
I know.
And I was sitting here like, hang on. Those
Yeah.
are both ending in a half.
No, yeah, that's probably where I was. Yeah.
So that's
Probably where I was at. Yeah, so that one we update to 20. And then we would say combination hazard qualifies. We'll put the 2 identifying points in there. They'll look at the map, they'll look at our measurements, they'll look at the traffic flow, they'll look at all of the details specific to them. And then they'll look at our memo and see if those 2 points they agree with.
Well, thanks for going out and doing all the counting.
Oh,
and all the work.
yeah, no.
This is great.
So that would be, if this one qualifies and Borden doesn't, there'd be some more discussion on that, but
Oh,
that's
okay.
kind of for a later.
I did have a follow-up question.
Yeah.
So on, it was, I guess, item 11, so it's volume of traffic and speed, and item 10, speed of traffic. So it has that like separated out in type 1 for walking along the roadway, but if you go to type 3, its speed and volume of traffic are combined under
Yes.
item 24.
Yep.
And so I was just curious, so it appears we're getting 0 points on 24,
Mhm.
but we get 1 point on 11. And so I didn't know, like, how is that allocation breaking?
So I think I shared this with Dr. Campbell, and then I think at some point during our hazard discussions, this was shared. So it's just the way that the points are delineated per section. So it's a standard that the state does, and so we just follow it. I don't know where they get their point delineation from, but we just follow that based off of this chart.
Okay.
Yeah.
It just seems weird to me. I just
Yeah.
how they would do that. But,
Yeah.
all right, that was my only comment.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I would just suggest that the admin take a look at the memo we issued last time and revise it and bring it back, because that came from the board, and at the time, the board wasn't aware that we could award 2 judgment points per type. So it only has 2 when we could have 4.
Yeah, the old memo, you mean?
It needs to be updated, please.
I did give 2 points per, though, in my
Yeah, but the
section.
memo doesn't
but the
reconcile
memo,
with
yep, yep.
So we would need to update that.
Yeah, it looks like we'll update this as well.
Yes, yep, I will get you an updated one and send it to you for the next round. If you want to update the memo and then let me know, when we submit it to the state, we'll just need an updated memo to accompany it.
Who wants to update that? I mean, I wrote the last one per board direction, but
You can
I'm happy to do it
share
again.
it back to me.
Okay.
I'll make sure it gets updated.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good catch. All right. 10.05, requests for proposals for board attorney discussion. There's an RFP, no action being requested on this, just a copy of what the RFP looks like. Dr. Campbell, anything I should add on this, you think? Or
Nope.
just,
Very straightforward.
yeah, looks like a nice template, good stuff. I think hopefully we get lots of bids. Okay. I also think it's just great stewardship that we're doing some requests for proposals on some of these. I know by law, as I understand in Illinois, services don't have to go through the traditional bidding procedures that like purchase services might for dollar thresholds, but with just in general, I think services at large, it's always good to make sure that we have identified all our options and are always getting a good structure. So good on you guys. Thanks. 10.06, policies for first reading. Let's see, lots here. I'm going to go ahead and hand this over to our policy chair here. Anything to add beyond, again, no action being requested. As I understand it, no change from what was out of the policy committee meeting, right? These are all...
Correct. All of these changes were recommended through the policy committee. I'll walk through them for the board and public. So the first one is 2130. It's a local revision only. And this was just to add clarification to the superintendent's responsibility to notify the board if ideas that come before the board would conflict with action the board's previously taken. 242 is a local policy that would establish a framework for drafting and operationalizing administrative procedures that adhere to board policy. We're working on drafting administrative procedures. And this just ensures that future boards know sort of the boundary between AP's administrative procedures and board policy, and that it's the admin's job to write the administrative procedures. It's the board's job to ensure that they exist, but not to write them. The next one is 350. It was a local revision. It aligns this administrative evaluation process to policy 5320, which is the evaluation process for non-certified staff, and implements the board's goal of position-specific instruments for evaluation. The next one, 6190, extracurricular and co-curricular activities, was revised to provide all district residents with more inclusive access to extracurricular activities. We would now accept students living within the district who are homeschooled or attend private schools, subject to the constraints of any association that governs the activity. For associations or for activities that are not governed by an association, all students that reside within the district will be welcome to attend. 6240 was revised for the same reasons as previously mentioned. 740 was also revised for the same reasons previously mentioned. 2220 Board of Education meeting procedure was updated for both press and local. There were press and local changes. We opted no to the what is it? Is it the
roll call on all
mandated roll call? We don't do that. That's not practice, so we opted no. And then the local revision was when new action items or discussion topics are placed on the agenda, it's expected that these items will have been vetted to ensure alignment with the board's and district's long-term objectives. 7300 was the next, that was also press and local. The language non-public or homeschooled students must also meet specific eligibility, academic load, and dual credit requirements in board policy. 740 was added just to sort of cross-reference 7300 and 740's new language to ensure clarity. The next policy that had changes made was 200. We opted yes to post the agendas at all buildings where we will have a meeting, regardless if it's the district office. If we have an off-site meeting, we will also post the agenda there. Per legal advice, I sent that concern when it was raised to press, to Deb Jacobson at press, and she acknowledged that that's an issue and pushed out for this issue so the districts could opt in or opt out because that was a legal opinion we got. I figured it'd be worthwhile sharing for other districts. The next one is 4165. These revisions were made This requires districts to give parents or guardians of students in grades K through 8 prior written notice of sexual abuse prevention instruction. 5 to 50. The policy was updated for continuous improvement, and the board opted for an option in the policy that stipulates we have more than 50 full-time employees. The next one was 5330. This allows employees to take leave if their child is in an ICU, intensive care unit. We had 550. This is to develop a substance use prevention and recovery instruction resource guide for elementary and secondary schools. So I'm assuming there'll be an AP to go along with that on how we would implement that curricula change. There was a policy revision to 6140 migrant students. Do we want me to go through all of these are just press revisions that were mandated by state. I got through all of the ones that we had local changes, which I think are more key.
I mean, you're like 3/4 through it, man. You might just finish it.
Okay.
I'd say just, yeah.
6145 migrant students was revised to require schools to protect the integrity of school learning environments for all children so that no parent is discouraged from sending and no child is discouraged from attending school, including from the threat of ICE on a school campus. That was legislation that came through the state that the district did not have an option to accept or reject. 6170 Title I programs. This policy was updated to align with federal statutes and guidance and terminology used by ISB to ensure compatibility with the U.S. Department of Education's revised non-regulatory guidance. 6180 was revised in response to new legislation, mainly just realigning the policy to new legislation, updating references. 6310, this was revised to, this one should have been flagged as local. 63110 is also as a result of the homeschool changes. This was not a press revision. So that's something.
There was a press revision.
Yeah,
I
it
think
should
it's flagged
be
on
press
one
and
there.
local though. It
Yeah.
shouldn't be just press with policy revisions. Sorry about that. 6500 was revised just due to outdated language, updating language through the attorneys at ISB. 665 student social and emotional development. Similarly, was just revised due to outdated language, realignment with other policies. ISB attorneys will go through on a 5-year basis and review any policies that haven't had legislation changes to make sure that the language stays fresh. 7185, teen dating violence prohibited. Similarly to above, updated just for continuous improvement. 7220, bus conduct. Similarly to above, continuous improvement. 7230, misconduct by students with disability, same reason, 5-year cycle. 7260, exemption from PE. This had minor revisions that are not substantive, but there were revisions to the policy just to align it again with current language. 750 was also realigned to new statute and current language. And finally, 7890, parent organizations and booster clubs. This was updated in response to a 5-year review, and the committee will investigate this further to ensure the organizations follow best practices to be good stewards of their funds. We discussed potentially adding in policy that there's a bond issued, is it a surety bond, is that the right, for all of our booster organizations, but that's something the committee is still reviewing further, and we'll come back with an update.
Thank you, Alex.
Does anyone have questions? No, we had a lot of review.
It's excellent. Yeah, it was detailed. Appreciate that.
It was a long meeting and we had a lot of things
Yeah.
to cover. I think he covered it well.
That's where it happens. That's where the magic happens. Policy. So, good things. Good things. All right. That's it. That's a wrap, folks. Any other comments on policy before we go into executive session? Anything else on this?
And there are some action items after executive session. I'll point out.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So. Nope. Okay. So, is there a motion to go into executive session?
I move to enter executive session pursuant to 5 ILCS 122C1 and 5 ILCS 122C29.
There's been a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second. Zane too.
And seconded. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion. Kelly, would you call the roll?
Gregory?
Aye.
Russell?
Yes.
Santu?
Yes.
Koppel?
Yes.
Evans?
Yes.
Kratos?
Yes.
Rita?
We will be back shortly.
Nice. It's mouthful.
That was a long one.
Were you?
Yeah.
All right, it's 8:02. We're back from executive session. Item 12.01, personnel report. Is there a motion to approve the personnel report as proposed?
So moved.
Second, couple.
Who moved?
Beth Marie.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All right, Kelly, would you call the roll?
Santu?
Yes.
Poppel?
Yes.
Evans?
Yes.
Kratos?
Yes.
Regnery?
Aye.
Russell?
Yes.
DeVito?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, next item on the agenda, consideration to approve the non-bargaining employee contracts. You'll note the template and supporting documents. All right, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second, Zantu.
What's the motion?
I'm sorry.
The motion to approve the non-bargaining employee contracts. And Cole, you've motioned to approve the non-bargaining employee contracts?
Mm-hmm.
And
I'll second.
1 second, okay. Any discussion? All right, seeing no discussion, Kelly, would you call the roll?
Poppel?
Yes.
Evans?
Yes.
Kratos?
Yes.
Regnery?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
Santu?
Yes.
DeVito?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, we've reached the end of our agenda. This meeting stands adjourned.